the great Sunshine State. Just before coming on stage, I had the opportunity to give Matt the National Republican Senatorial Committee's Champion for Freedom Award to honor him for all the work he's done to support the conservative cause. So let's give him a big round of applause for that. So it's great to be here. My wife is actually from Dallas. She told me it was never cold here. She said there's never any ice storms. Is that right? Not exactly. So both of our daughters, we lived here for about 18 years. Both of our daughters were born here, and one daughter still lives here in Austin with her family. And so it's a great place to come home to. You know, when I was here, I worked here quite a while. One of the things I did, I worked along the border. Have any of you been to Donna, Texas? Yep, right along the border. When I went there, we could work, and at the end of our day, we would go across the border into Mexico for dinner. You can't do that today. It's become extremely dangerous. Biden and Harris are directly responsible for this. This is clearly a border crisis, and no one knows it better than the people that live along the border and actually all over the state of Texas. I think we all should find it disgusting that Biden and Harris can sit idly by when you see a little 14-year-old boy, Nicaraguan boy, frightened because he was left in the desert by himself to die. Think about that. They're just sitting, Biden and Harris act like there's no problem here, but there's a 14-year-old little boy worried that he's going to die. Did you see that picture of those two little Ecuadorian girls, the 3- and 5-year-olds, dropped over a 14-foot wall, just abandoned in the middle of the night? Doesn't it disgust you? I mean, think about it. All of us, we all know, we can all think of a 3- and a 5-year-old little girl. What are they doing? They're playing out in the park. They're playing with their toys. But these girls were left alone, scared, and they had to be terrified, right? They probably just traveled hundreds of miles, probably had one set of clothes. They were, their whole family was worried about what was going to happen, just dropped in a foreign place. That's what Biden and Harris are doing. I've talked to Border Patrol agents that said that women, they're so worried about being raped that they cover themselves with feces so they'll be disgusting to men. This is what Biden and Harris are doing. It's disgusting. And Harris has a cavalier attitude to this whole human toll that's happening around our border. And this is their crisis. It's Biden and Harris' crisis. They don't want to call it a crisis. They don't want the media to go down. They don't want us to talk about it at all. This is just emblematic of what we've got in our leadership in Washington right now. Going to the border, Harris had no interest in doing. But as you know, she finally came to El Paso a few weeks ago. And she had to come. She had to come because of her failed leadership. That's why she was there. Now, she could have gone with Governor Abbott. She could have gone with President Trump and seen the real crisis. The crisis caused when you don't finish a border wall, when you don't electrify cameras and lights. So what we have to do is we have to talk about this, and we have to fight every day to make sure we have a secure border, and we've got to call the Democrats out for exactly what they are doing. Now, that's my job. I'm the new chair of the National Republican Senatorial Committee. We are going to win in 22. And as a U.S. Senator, I will do it every day. And I know your senators from Texas are doing it every day. We're going to fight for a secure border. Now, I've been there 2 years. Every week we go to Washington, D.C., almost every week. You know, it's not full of a lot of conservatives like you. You know, strong conservatives are not really accepted in D.C. right now. The Democrats control Washington. They control the House, the Senate, and the White House. But you know what? They do not control our country. We do. They want to control the way we think, what we say, how we say it, and what we do. But we together will never allow that. Democrats want to tell us what to say and how to say it, or else we will be canceled from our jobs, our churches, our schools, our entire life. They want to cancel us. How many of you are not even sure what you can say right now? You're worried about what you can say will be socially acceptable. I believe there's going to be a big backlash coming, and it's going to come from all of us, and there's nothing the Democrats can do to stop us. Now, in my 2 years in D.C., I've watched a lot of crazy things. You wouldn't believe how things work up there. So I've watched the Democrats what? They want to defund the police. They want gut funding for our military. We've watched the Democrats push for open borders and closed schools. We watched them try to impeach a duly elected president twice for nonsense. But those aren't even the craziest things they're trying to do. No, the craziest bill that they have is what they call the For the People Act. Have you heard of it? So let's call it, it's not for the people. We should call it what it is. It's called the Corrupt Politicians Act. So far, we've been able to block this insane partisan Washington power grab from the Democrats. But they're going to try it again and again and again. This is their whole focus. They will do anything to gain power and try to control our elections and all future elections in this country. They don't want free and fair elections. They want elections only Democrats can win. So let me start by asking you a couple questions. Do you believe it's racist to require voters to show their ID? Of course not. Now, think about it. It's common sense. You have to show it to open up a checking account. And you do have to, I think we should tell the Delta CEO, you do have to do it when you get on an airplane also. But the Democrats' plan is to block it. Now, not for everything, just for elections. Now, do you want unmonitored, unattended drop boxes or liberal groups harvesting ballots so they can pick and choose? Well, I don't think that would be a vote my way. I want to put that one in. Just pick which ones I want to discard and which ones I put in. Do we want that? The American people don't either. The Democrat bill does both of those things. The Democrats' bill, here's the best part. The Democrats' Corrupt Politicians Act has you paying for their political attack ads. How many of you think that we should be paying for Democrats' political attack ads with your money? Now, we're not talking about a little bit of money. We're talking about a lot of money. So here's some examples. Arizona, Democrat Mark Kelly is running next November, and we will beat him. But he will get, if this bill passed, he would get as much as $18 million of your tax dollars. How about Raphael Warnock in Georgia? He would get as much as $25 million of your tax dollars. New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan, by the way, call Chris Sununu, the governor of New Hampshire, to make sure you want him to run for Senate. If he does, we will win. But Maggie Hassan would get as much as $9 million. Cortez Masto in Nevada, she would get as much as $11 million. In Colorado, Michael Bennet, he'll get up to $11 million or $16 million. Now, let's talk about our good friend Chuck Schumer. Now, Chuck Schumer, don't you just love the guy? So, you know, he's not partisan at all. So he says we have to pass this bill. He's working on it really hard because we have to pass it to save democracy. No, he wants to pass it to save his skin. Guess how much he would get? Up to $45 million of your money to run attack ads. It's corruption for the Democrats right out in the open. And it's based on a complete lie. There's no basis for this. Now, first off, we should all congratulate the Arizona GOP because they had a historic victory in the Supreme Court, right? So, thank God for President Trump's picks to the Supreme Court. They upheld the election security laws in Arizona. So now, hopefully, in 22, we're going to have all across the country a secure, free, and fair election, which is all we expect. But the Democrats are going to fight tooth and nail to strip states of all local control, but we have to be reunited as conservatives and as Republicans to make sure that every election is free and fair. In free and fair elections, we win. But this lie is a complete lie from Biden on down. They believe if you have any election reform, all we're trying to do, we're racist and we're trying to oppress voters. It's a complete lie. We have to stand up and say the Democrats are lying. Voter ID is not racist. It's common sense. Preventing ballot harvesting or drop boxes aren't secure, it's not racist, it's common sense. Preventing illegal immigrants from voting is not racist, it's common sense. The Democrats' Corrupt Politicians Act is a clear assault on free and fair elections and erodes state safeguards that are going to make sure our elections are fair, and in a free and fair election, we will win. Our goal is maximum participation in zero fraud, period. Not some fraud, not 1,000 ballots here, 1,000 ballots there, zero fraud. The Democrats call everything they don't like racist. Now, you know, the filibuster is racist, right? Even though Biden, when he was a senator, and many Democrats used it to block bills, and the Democrat did last year to block Tim Scott's police reform bill, but somehow all of a sudden it's become racist. The Democrats are complete hypocrites. And they're teaching our kids that America is racist. We are not racist. This country is not a racist country. Democrats are absolutely wrong. America is the greatest country in the history of the world, a country that's given more opportunities to people to live their individual dreams than any place on earth. Now, in the past, Republicans have been intimidated when Democrats call us racist, but we got to stop being intimidated. We can't allow that. The Democrats know that they lose on actual policy. We win on policy, so that's when they play the race card. We can't stand down and we can't cower to the Democrats calling us names. They're going to call us racist no matter what we do. That game has to be over. We've got to stand up and fight for what we believe in. Fight for our conservative principles. We're going to fight for free, fair, and secure elections. We're going to fight for a government in Washington that doesn't represent liberal special interests or woke corporations or woke CEOs or Democrat activists that want our children, teach our children that our country and our values are bad. We're going to fight for the values that make our country great because we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We have to stand up every day and fight for our faith, our families, and this country we love. So as I said, I just got elected to be the chairman of the National Republican Senatorial Committee. And that means my job over the next year and a half is not only just raise $1 gazillion to make sure we get good candidates, but also talk about how crazy these Senate Democrats are. Make sure we have strong conservative Republicans running, and make sure we take back the majority, which we will. I have my oldest grandson loves military. He's going to be a paratrooper like my adopted father. And I recently took him to a military museum, and they asked anybody if they knew the Pledge of Allegiance. And so my grandson was all excited. He raised his hat immediately. So let's all do the same thing. Let's all stand up and say the pledge and what we believe in. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You know, as a grandparent, you get pretty excited when you watch your children, your grandchildren grow up to believe in this country. And so I'm proud of my daughters. We have 6 grandsons and 1 granddaughter, and I think they're all going to grow up to be great conservatives. But we're living in a nation where the Democrat Party, woke athletes and woke CEOs, big tech, Hollywood, academia, and the liberal media are attacking our values every day. They attack the values that are embodied in the pledge, the national anthem, our flag, and our Constitution. They shame us and cancel us when we fight to defend our values, our faith, and our freedoms. No more. When you see groups like this, you know we're winning. Watching my grandson that day gives me hope that our future generations won't lose sight of the importance of our flag, our anthem, our flag, and they will respect the values that my adoptive father fought for and as a member of the 82nd Airborne in World War II. But as we all know, it's going to take all of us to fight back this woke mob and these radical Democrats who are trying to destroy the values that we all believe in this great nation. The backlash against the Democrats, woke athletes, CEOs, big tech, Hollywood, academia, and their liberal media is coming. It's because we're doing it. If you want to see a backlash, we can do it together. We can do it by winning in 22. We should win in 22. We can win in 22. We will win in 22. Thank you. God bless America. God bless every one of you. God bless our values. Bye-bye.